In this condition, this is October the 2nd, 1977, just less than 6 weeks before Srila Prabhupada departed this world. In this condition, even I cannot move my body on the bed. Only chance is that you should give me, let me die a little peacefully without any anxiety. I have given in writing everything, whatever you wanted, my will, my executive power, everything. Disaster will happen if you cannot manage it. Tamal Krishna Maharaj. Yes, we do not want any disaster to happen. Our only business as your sons and servants is to maintain what you have established, even if we don't increase it, if we just maintain it, Prabhupada. Yes. So why is this gone so wishy-washy? Maya has infiltrated in various ways. I would be loath to say that all of the various changes that have been made with evil intent. Rather, we find devotees, they want to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission and trying to find the ways to do so. Srila Prabhupada himself said in the early days he was experimenting in bringing the Hare Krishna mantra to others. One major difference is that Srila Prabhupada was clearly guided by Krishna in all respects, and some things we've tried, they're really going nowhere, not to Krishna anyway. So what to do for the movement to get back on track? Well, it really requires the top leaders to take stock of the whole situation and do the needful. There's no sign of that happening very soon. They seem to think that everything's fine and wonderful. But when we see devotees who had so much mercy and knowledge from Prabhupada talking nonsense in the name of preaching, then it doesn't seem very fine and wonderful. And when we celebrate as a wonderful thing that in England, in the schools now, the children will be taught in the religious studies class that two examples of Hindu organizations in the modern age. One is Hare Krishna, ISKCON, and another is Sai Baba. And the devotees think, well, that's wonderful. It's celebrating. This is something very good. Something seriously wrong. It's very difficult. Even if the devotees decided right now, okay, let's get back to what we're supposed to be doing. Book distribution means Prabhupada's books, primarily. Not only Prabhupada's books, Prabhupada also himself wanted his disciples to write books, and Srila Prabhupada himself promoted the scientific basis of Krishna consciousness, a book by Swarup Damodar Maharaj, and he also, that's just one example. There are so many examples, but primarily Prabhupada's books. Public Harinam, festivals in which they're clearly Hare Krishna festivals, farm communities. That's really what we need to be doing. Get the focus clearly back on pure devotional service. But in the meantime, we have the majority of devotees were brought into a movement which was preaching something off, tangential at best from what Prabhupada taught. And so the majority of devotees in this movement think that, yeah, well, our movement's meant for feeding school children, and if the state government says we have to feed them eggs also, well, we can make some arrangement for that. That's going on. Eggs with the prasadam, if it's prasadam. And rock music and so many things. So it would be difficult to we have to re-educate the whole movement. Anyway, in this regard, I would like to say that from time to time I give this kind of controversial talk. I don't know why it should be considered controversial, because to me it just seems very straightforward, but it is considered. And there is appreciation, mostly from God brothers, not so much God sisters, and from all the devotees who joined in the 1980s and maybe early 1990s, and before all this massive compromise became the norm. But they're not so many. The majority of devotees joined later. And they think that all this, what's been going on is what it's supposed to be, and that's normal and that's right. So it would be very difficult to change all of this. But let's see. Everything's in Krishna's hands. We have to make our own effort, not that just we say we'll leave it to Krishna. In the case of Srila Prabhupada, he wanted to work with his God brothers. He wasn't going to change the message of pure devotional service. For that matter, they also didn't change the message of pure devotional service in the Gaudiya Math. It's just that they lost the